Hello, welcome to my channel. Enjoy your viewing and have a good romantic mood. From the outside, my life seems like a fairy tale. Here I am, a young beauty, living in a luxurious house, indulging in everything I desire. My husband is a successful businessman, showering me with attention and gifts. True, my mother-in-law can be a bit intrusive at times, but that's something I can tolerate. But behind the facade of prosperity lies a dark room that nobody knows about. I'm almost 30, and I've never worked a day in my life. I've never felt needed, never had my own goals. My life flows aimlessly, without direction or purpose. At first, my parents supported me, then my husband took over. I graduated from university, but I never applied my knowledge. I simply wasn't interested. My days passed in idleness. I read magazines, watched TV, and went shopping. My husband started drifting away. He was hardly ever home, rarely called, and barely paid attention to me. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, spent a lot of time with me, but her nagging only intensified my loneliness. I felt like I couldn't go on like this anymore. The feeling of emptiness and despair was eating me up inside. I turned to a psychologist, hoping to find help. I didn't expect our meetings to have such an impact on me. My psychologist, Vera Ivanovna, turned out to be a wise and kind woman. She helped me understand myself, my desires, and my fears. With each meeting, I felt better about myself. Vera Ivanovna helped me realize that I didn't have to live the life others had imposed on me. I could choose my own path, create my own destiny. She encouraged me to search for myself, to try new things, not to be afraid of mistakes. With her help, I found a job that I enjoy. I started taking courses to develop my skills. I tasted the flavor of life, felt alive. My husband didn't share my enthusiasm. He couldn't understand why I had suddenly changed, why I was no longer interested in staying at home and spending his money. He treated my new aspirations with irony and even contempt. Our relationship worsened with each passing day. Arguments became more frequent and harsher. Eventually, I made the decision to divorce. It wasn't easy. I loved my husband, I believed we could overcome all difficulties. But I realized I couldn't live with someone who didn't respect me and didn't support my aspirations. After the divorce, I felt free. I could finally start a new life, a life that belonged only to me. I know there are many challenges ahead of me, but I'm not afraid anymore. I know I'm strong. I know I can overcome any obstacles. I'm grateful to Vera Ivanovna for helping me find myself. She's not just a psychologist, she's my friend and mentor. I know I'm not alone. There are many women facing similar problems. I want my story to give them hope, to let them know that it's never too late to change their lives. Life on the edge is not a sentence. It's a chance to start over, a chance to find yourself and be happy. The first weeks after the divorce were the hardest. Loneliness weighed heavily on my chest, and my thoughts were as tangled as birds in a cage. It seemed like the familiar world had shattered into fragments, and now I had to pick up the pieces. Help came from friends whom I had neglected during my golden captivity. They surrounded me with care, took me out for walks and to the movies. With them, I could laugh and cry without fear of judgment. Gradually, life began to improve. Work became more engaging. I worked as a marketing manager in a small but promising firm. I had to learn a lot, master new programs, but the challenges only fueled my enthusiasm. One day at work, we were brainstorming ideas for a new advertising campaign. Suddenly, a thought struck me. I shared it with my colleagues, and they were impressed. It turned out that my outsider perspective, coming from someone who hadn't worked in this field before, led to a fresh and creative solution. From that day on, people started to notice me. The boss praised me, colleagues treated me with respect. I felt needed, competent, alive. Changes in my appearance didn't go unnoticed either. I lost weight, joined a fitness club, and started taking care of myself. The boredom that once clouded my eyes vanished. Now they sparkled with energy and zest for life. One evening, as I was returning from work, someone unexpectedly called me. The number was unfamiliar. I answered with a slight tremor. "A good evening, Elena," a pleasant male voice said. "It's Dimitri, from the marketing training we had recently. Remember?" I did remember. Dimitri was a speaker from a consulting company who had conducted training at our company not long ago. He was smart, charismatic, and I found myself unable to take my eyes off him during his lectures. "Of course, I remember," I replied, feeling my heart rate quicken. How can I help you?" "We're looking for talented professionals," Dimitri continued. "Your idea at the brainstorm impressed us. Would you consider a job offer to work with us?" My heart almost leaped out of my chest. It was a chance I hadn't even dreamed of. To work in a serious company, with promising career growth. I would be happy to," I stuttered. "But I need some time to think it over." "I understand," Dimitri replied. "We'll wait for your response within a week. Here's my business card, with contact details." Taking the business card, I thanked him and ended the call. My legs felt like jelly. It was a chance to reach a new level, to make a career leap. But at the same time, it was a huge responsibility and fear of the unknown. I spent the evening pondering. Figures of the salary Dimitri mentioned and prospects of professional development flashed before my eyes. But alongside them were thoughts of the familiar rhythm of life and stability. In the end, the desire to grow prevailed. The next day, I called Dimitri and informed him of my decision. He was delighted and scheduled a meeting to discuss the details. Nerves slightly hindered me during the interview, but I managed to talk about my experience and answer questions. In the end, I was offered a position as a marketing manager with a good salary and opportunities for training abroad. I accepted the offer. Ahead awaited plenty of new challenges, intense schedules, serious projects, communication with foreign partners. But I was ready. I felt strength and inspiration within me. The new job took up a lot of time and energy, but it brought immense satisfaction. I was constantly learning, growing, and interacting with interesting people. Colleagues treated me with respect, and the management valued my ideas. Even my former mother-in-law noticed the changes in my life. She called several times, trying to reconcile me with her son. But I remained steadfast. My life now belonged to me, and I had no intention of returning to the past. One day after work, I ran into Dimitri by chance. We struck up a conversation, and he invited me for coffee. Over a cup of aromatic drink, we talked a lot about work, life, and dreams. It turned out we had a lot in common. From that evening on, we started seeing each other more often. Dimitri turned out to be not just a colleague, but also an interesting, intelligent person. It was easy and fun to be with him. He supported me and believed in my abilities. It had been half a year since my divorce. Life had become completely different. I no longer felt lonely. I had an exciting job, a loving partner, yes, Dimitri and I started dating, and loyal friends. Of course, there were difficulties too. Sometimes I couldn't manage everything: work, meeting with Dimitri, and spending time with friends. But I learned to plan my time and prioritize. One evening, during a romantic dinner, Dimitri proposed to me. I answered a yes without hesitation. I loved him and was sure he was my destiny. A few months later, We got married. The wedding was modest but very heartfelt. Among the guests were my friends, colleagues, and even Vera Ivanovna, my former psychologist. 2 more years passed. Life went on. Our daughter, Alice, grew up quickly. Her laughter filled the house with joy. Motherhood was another discovery for me, exciting and, at the same time, challenging. Working part-time allowed me to balance my career and family responsibilities. Although, I must admit, finding balance was not always easy. There were days when I dreamed of just an hour of peaceful silence. One evening, after Alice had already fallen asleep, I was discussing work issues with Dmitry. He talked about a new promising project that he had been offered to lead. The only thing is, he said, the job requires relocating abroad. For 2 years, maybe 3. My heart sank. Moving was a serious decision. But what about Alice? School, friends, grandmother. My doubts must have shown on my face because Dmitry took my hand. I understand your concerns, he said gently. But this is a great opportunity for career growth. Think about it. It will open doors to the international market. And for Alice, it's a chance to learn a new language, get acquainted with a new culture. I remained silent, pondering. On one hand, the unknown frightened me. On the other hand, such opportunities don't come every day. After all, once upon a time, I myself was afraid of change, stuck in a golden cage. And what about Alice? I finally managed to say. Dmitry smiled. We've discussed everything with your mom. She'll gladly move with us. And as for school, I've already found a wonderful educational institution there with a Russian-speaking department. I looked at him, impressed by his foresight. He always knew how to prepare for any situation. Okay, I said, taking a deep breath. Let's give it a try. The next few months passed in a whirlwind of activity. We had to process documents, prepare Alice for the move, and say goodbye to relatives and friends. The new country welcomed us warmly. Initially, it was challenging to adjust to the different climate, language, and customs. But thanks to Dmitry's and Mom's support, we quickly adapted. Alice quickly mastered the local language and made new friends. Her childlike openness helped us integrate into the new environment faster. As for work, things were going well for Dmitry. He immersed himself in the project, and I could see how passionate he was about it. I was proud of his achievements. I, on the other hand, decided to temporarily step back from my career. I wanted to focus on Alice and adapting to the new life. But I didn't plan to sit idly. I started attending local interior design courses, something I had been interested in for a long time. 2 years passed. Dmitry's assignment was coming to an end. The company offered him a permanent position here. We all sat down together to discuss our future plans. Ukraine is my home, Dmitry said. But here I see good career prospects. What do you think, Alina? I looked at Alice, who was enthusiastically drawing at the table. She was already fluent in 2 languages and had found real friends here. She liked it here. Finally, I smiled. What if we stay? I asked. Of course, if you don't mind. Dmitry raised his eyebrows in surprise. He probably didn't expect such an answer. Are you sure? He asked. What about your job? I'm not going to give up my dreams altogether, I reassured him. During this time, I finished the design courses and already have several interesting clients. Maybe I'll work remotely or even open my own small design studio here. Dmitry kissed me on the forehead. You're incredible, he whispered. I always knew you would succeed in everything you set out to do. So we decided to stay. Dmitry was pleased with the news of the contract extension, and I enthusiastically immersed myself in work. Interior design fascinated me more and more. I enjoyed helping people create cozy and functional homes. Eventually, my small design studio turned into a successful firm. We worked not only with private clients but also participated in large-scale projects. I found my team of talented designers, and together we created beauty. Alice grew up, delighting us with her successes in school. She was fluent in 3 languages and easily communicated with peers of different nationalities. Dimitri and I were proud of our daughter. One evening, when the kids were not at home, Dimitri arranged a romantic dinner. By candlelight, over a glass of wine, he pulled out a small velvet box. Inside lay a diamond ring, sparkling with all the colors of the rainbow. "Jelena," Dimitri turned to me, taking my hand, "You are the love of my life. Thank you for agreeing to move with me back then. Thank you for your support, for believing in me. Will you marry me again?" Tears welled up in my eyes. I hugged him tightly. "Yes, my love," I whispered. "I will." Our second wedding was even more emotional than the first. Only the closest ones were present: my mom, my friends, colleagues. We danced until the early hours, celebrating not only love but also a new stage in our life together. So, in 5 years, my life changed dramatically. From a former housewife, unappreciated by anyone, I transformed into a successful businesswoman, a beloved wife, and a caring mother. I found myself, my place in this world. And most importantly, I never regretted my choice. I realized that it's never too late to change your life. The main thing is to have the courage to take the first step. Thank you for being with us today. I hope that this story has brought you emotions. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss any of our new stories. Thank you for your support. You are the best.